Today we will be learning the module number 3 of Mathematics 7. So to begin with, we have the topics representing absolute value of a number on a number line. So the first activity we will be doing is the absolute value. Next is, let's define first what is an absolute value. So the absolute value of a number is the distance of a number from 0 to any part of the number line. So in other words, when you say absolute value, you are talking about the distance, and distance is always positive. So therefore, remember that distance is always positive. So the absolute value of a number n is written as the symbol, it has a symbol bar and then bar. So this is the symbol for the absolute value. So for module number 3, these are the things that we will be talking about. The representation of the absolute value, the sum of integers, the difference of integers, product of integers, and the quotient of integers. And all of these are the 4 basic operations in mathematics. Next, let's begin with an example of the absolute value. If x is a positive integer, then the absolute value of x is x. So in symbol, we could write that one as in this manner. So the absolute value of x is equal to x if x is greater than 0. So what are the numbers greater than 0? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Any number from 1 to infinity is, the absolute value of any number from 1 to infinity is just itself. Next, if x is equal to 0, then the absolute value of x is x. So in symbol, the absolute value of x is equal to x if x is equal to 0. Example, the absolute value of 0 is also 0. Next, if x is a negative integer, then the absolute value of x is the opposite of x. So in symbols, the absolute value of negative x is equal to the opposite of x if x is less than 0. Example, negative 5. So this is a negative number. The opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. Therefore, that is now the answer for the absolute value. Now, let's illustrate the absolute value. So, represent the following absolute value on the number line. So, let's begin with the absolute value of 6. So, you draw first the number line. So, this is the number line. And our given is absolute value of 6. So, 6 is, if this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we are going to represent that 1, it always begin with 0. So from here, 6 units up to here. And this is now the absolute value. Then you write the word 6 units. And this is now the absolute value of 6. Next, what about the absolute value of 0? As you could see on the screen, we have the absolute value of 0, negative 3, so those things. What about the absolute value of 0? So, if we are going to write the number line, it should be like this, and the distance should be equal. So if this is 0, next is 1, 2, 3. And if we go backwards, if this is 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Now where is 0 there? So 0 is here. So therefore, this is now the absolute value of 0. How many units are there from 0 to 0? 0 units. So therefore, you write the word 0 units. Next, the third one is the absolute value of negative 3. So you write the number line. So negative is where part, on the left side or on the right side of the number line. Of course, it is always on the left side. So if this is 0, this is positive 1, this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So when you write a number line, if the given is negative 3, you add something more than from it. So we have negative 4. So therefore, from 0 to negative 3 is here. So we have 3 units. Next. So let's move now to lesson number 2, the addition of integers. So when you add integers, these are the rules. So addition of integers using the rule number 1. When the integers have like signs, add the number and copy the common sign. Again, when the integers have like signs, add the numbers and copy the common signs. Example. So we go now to addition of integers. Common sign, positive, positive, or negative, negative. Example, positive 3 plus positive 3, that is 6. Or positive 2 plus positive 5, that is positive 7. What about this one? Negative 1 plus negative 5. Now, both are negative numbers. And if you are going to write negative numbers, it is okay to write a parenthesis on it. So, negative plus negative, that is, you add the number. So, we have 6, then copy the common sign. Or, next, negative 3 plus negative 7. Add the number 3 plus 7, that is 10, then copy the common sign. What is the sign of the 2? That is negative. So copy. And that is now the answer. Next, rule number 2. When the integers have unlike signs, subtract the numbers and use the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. Again, when the integers have unlike signs or hindi magkapareho na signs, you subtract the numbers and use the number use the sign of the number with a greater absolute value. Example, negative 2 plus 4. Negative 2 plus 4. So, do they have the same signs? No. So, therefore, subtract the two numbers. 2 minus 4 is 2. Then who got the greater number, 4 or 2? It is 4. Then what is the sign of 4? That is invisible positive. By the way, positive number has an invisible positive sign. So therefore the sign here is invisible positive. Next, 5 plus negative 6. Do they have the same signs? No. Therefore, subtract the two numbers. 5 minus 6, that is 1. But, which number is greater, 6 or 5? It is 6. And, what is the sign of 6? That is negative. So, you copy the sign. Again, 11 plus negative 13. Do they have the same signs? No. So, therefore, subtract 11 minus 13, that is 2. Who has the greater number, 11 or 13? That is 13. What is the sign of 13? Negative. So copy negative 2. And that is now the examples. So let's proceed now to lesson number 3, the subtraction of integers. Now, subtraction rule. To subtract two integers and the opposite or additive inverse of the subtrahend to the minuend, that is, if a and b are any two integers, then a minus b is equal to a plus negative b. Then follow the rules for addition of integers. How do we do that one? So, let's have an example. 20 minus 16. So, in this case, we just need to follow the addition rule. So, 20 minus 16. 20 minus 16. We could rewrite that one as 20 plus negative 16. So, do they have the same signs? No. So, subtract 20 minus 16, that is 4. Who has the greater sign? Is it 20? Who has the greater value? Is it 20 or 16? That is 20. And what is the sign of 20? That is invisible positive. So, write invisible positive. Next, example number 2. 19 minus negative 7. 19 minus negative 7. So, we could write this one as negative will turn into positive. If the two signs meet together, they will become a positive number. So, example, 19. In this case, negative will turn to positive. So, 19 plus 7, that is 26. Next, negative 21 minus negative 5. Negative 21 minus negative 5. Negative 21 minus negative 5. So, let us rewrite this one. Negative will turn to positive. Negative 21 plus 5. They have the same signs. No, therefore, subtract. 21 minus 5, that is 16. Who is the greater value, 21 or 5? It is 21. But what is the sign of 21? Is negative. That is negative, so copy negative. So, let's proceed now to multiplication of integers. So, there are the rules of multiplication of integers. When you multiply two numbers with the same sign, the product is positive. Again, when you multiply numbers with the same sign, the product is positive. But if they have different signs, then the product is always negative. So, how do we do that one? Positive times positive is always equal to positive because they have the same signs. Negative times negative is always positive because they have the same signs. Next, different signs, plus minus. Plus times minus is always negative. Minus times positive, negative times positive is always negative because they have different signs. In other words, if we are going to rewrite that one, plus minus is equal to positive is equal to positive. But if they have the same different signs, like plus minus, it is always negative, or minus plus, it is always negative. Okay, let's have an example for that. 6 times 9. Both are positive. So, therefore, the answer is also positive. 6 times 9. 6 times 9 is 54. Next. Negative 7 and negative 7 and negative 6, negative 5 and negative 4, 0 times 15. So, negative 7 times negative 6. Negative 7 and negative 6 are both negative signs, so therefore the answer is positive. 6 times 7 is 42. Next, negative 5 times 4. The two numbers are not the same in sign. Negative 5 and positive 4. Therefore, the answer is negative. 4 times 5 is 20. Next, 0 times 15. Any number multiplied to 0 is always 0. What about 16 times 0. Again, any number multiplied to 0 is also 0. Okay, next, let's proceed now to division of integers. So we go now to division. Rules of dividing integers. When two numbers with the same sign are divided, the quotient is always positive. Again, it has the same rule with multiplication. The same signs are always positive. Different signs are always negative. The rules of dividing 0 by a non-zero number and 4 division by 0 is still hold. So how do you do that one? So let's have an example. 45 divided by 5. Do they have the same signs, 45 and divided by 5? Yes, they have the same signs, 45 and 5. Therefore, the answer is positive. So, 45 divided by 5, or we could write this one as 45 divided by 5. How many 5 are there in 45? Is 9. Next, negative 51 divided by negative 3. Do they have the same signs? We could write this one as negative 51 divided by negative 3. Do they have the same signs? Yes, both are negative numbers. So, how many 3 in 51? So, 7 is 21, 21, 21, 63. Can we divide it? Oh, sorry. This is 21, not 51. 21. How many 3 are there in 21? So, there are 7. And both are negative numbers, therefore, the answer is positive. Next. (18) divided by negative 3. Or we could rewrite this one as 18 divided by negative 3. Are the two numbers the same in sign? Not. This is positive, this is negative. Therefore, we could the answer is always negative. So how many 3 are there in 18? That is 6. So that is now the answer. What about 0 divided by 11? 0 divided by 11. What do you think is the answer? Is it 0? Or can we divide it? What do you think? So, when the numerator are 0, the answer is always for a while. When the number is divided into 0, the numerator is this, the upper part, the lower part is the denominator. When the number above or the numerator is 0, divided by a number, therefore the answer is always 0. But if 11 divided by 0 or 11 divided by 0, denominator is 0 and the numerator is any number except 0, then the answer is undefined or U. U means undefined. Undefined. Meaning you cannot divide a denominator which is 0. You cannot divide something into nothing. But you can divide nothing into something. So that ends our lesson.